Hello, let me ask you an honest question. Did anyone actually teach you how to handle money? Or did you grow up watching money control people's decisions and emotions? Most of us were not taught money. We absorbed it. We absorbed fear. We absorbed pressure. We absorbed manage it till month end. And now as an adult, you're wondering why money feels heavy, even when we earn more. Here's the hard truth. Most people don't like hearing. Motivation won't fix your finances. You can be inspired today and still make the same money mistakes tomorrow. Why? Because money problems are rarely knowledge problems. They are identity and system problems. That's why I created the Money Click program. Not to teach people how to hustle harder, but to help you understand why you do what you do with money. So have you ever wondered why you keep making the same money mistakes, even after reading books, attending seminars, and learning about budgeting and so much more? Maybe you've promised yourself countless times that, oh, this month I'll save, this year I'll invest, this time I'll be more disciplined. Yet somehow you end up repeating the same cycle. What if your problem isn't lack of financial knowledge? What if it's unresolved financial trauma? Financial trauma occurs when painful money experiences create emotional wounds that continue to influence your financial decisions even years later. Perhaps you grew up in a home where there was never enough. Perhaps your parents constantly fought over money. Perhaps you watched the family business collapse. Perhaps you experienced sudden poverty after a period of comfort. That event may have ended, but the emotional impact remained. And today, those experiences may be silently shaping how you earn, how you spend, how you invest, and even discuss money. So many people are trying to solve emotional problems with financial strategies. That's like trying to treat a broken bone with perfume. Until you heal the wound, the symptoms will keep returning. And that is why I created the Healing from Financial Trauma course. Not to teach more budgeting, not to teach more investing, but to help people understand the hidden emotional forces driving their money decisions. Because when healing begins, financial transformation becomes sustainable. If this resonates with you, send us a message. Let's talk about how you can join the Healing from Financial Trauma course. You can just comment healing in the comments. I'll reach out to you with the details. My name is Chukwemeko Koyenizi and I'm the founder of the Viral Academy. Bye-bye.
All right, hello everyone. Good afternoon and welcome to our Wednesday live session here, on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. Happy to be here again today. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I see everyone in the comment section. Thank you and thank you and thank you and thank you for joining. Just trying to get my angles right. Okay, yeah. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for being here. It's always an honor to have all the people here learning every week in, week out. Yes, thank you so much, Madam Anne. Always here as always. Thank you, Madam Wafo. Yes, and I also saw your child, Madam Wafo, in the Swap Money Kids workshop. Yes, thank you for bringing them and every other person that brought their child. Yes, Madam Ayodeji, thank you so much. It's been a while I've seen Madam Ayodeji here. Mr. Chris, as always, thank you so much. And thank you to everybody who have joined us. Those on Facebook, on Instagram, Madam Tony George, and Madam Joel, sorry, Madam Uzosike, Madam Joel Uzosike. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us here today. It's going to be a lovely day. So today, I want us to discuss something. You know, when we talk about poverty, most of the times, what we talk about is we only refer to poverty as lack of money, right? Now, I want us to look at how poverty teach people to fear wealth. You know, because a lot of times people don't realize it, but poverty can make you fear wealth. You know, one of the greatest strategies of poverty um, one of the greatest strategies of poverty is not um, is not simply that it reduces your income. The problem is that it changes how you think. That's one of the biggest problems of poverty. It changes how you think. All right. So it shapes, it changes how you think, it shapes your belief, it rewires your expectations, it influences your identity. Right. So over time, poverty just doesn't, it doesn't just become something that people experience. It becomes something that people begin to expect. And eventually, it can teach people to fear the very thing they desperately desire. See, I've seen people come out of poverty, but they are afraid of money. I've seen people come out of poverty and subconsciously, instead of going for wealth, even when they have the options, they prefer to go back to poverty, unfortunately. Right? They prefer to go back to the very place where they are coming from, the very place that has caused them trauma. You will see a poor person that has been presented options, and the person would rather choose the option that will take them back to where they're coming from, unfortunately. But there are reasons for this. There's a reason why these things happen. Um, there's a reason why um, um, poverty leaves fear, or poverty teaches one to fear wealth. And I want us to look at some of those reasons today. The first reason that I want us to look at is that number one, that poverty doesn't just empty pockets, it fills the mind with fear. Right? When we think of poverty, we usually think of empty bank accounts, unpaid bills, unemployment, lack of opportunities. But poverty also creates invincible consequences. Right? So poverty can teach people that having money is just a temporary thing. And that's why a lot of times, a lot of people that have experienced poverty for a long time, right? They tend to develop the tendency to just spend everything that comes their way because they feel like the money no they stay. They feel like this money, let me just spend it now that I have it. Right? So it shapes their belief about what money is. It shapes their belief about what money is. Some people feel success is a very dangerous thing. I remember somebody sharing the Money Click program and saying that the father told him that if you know what rich people do to become rich, you don't want to do it. So poverty creates a mindset that success is dangerous. That success is a dangerous venture. Don't even venture into it. Right? It is the same poverty that shapes people's mindset that make people think that wealthy people cannot be trusted, wealthy people are wicked, wealthy people have. It is the change of thinking that comes as a result of the experience. It is poverty that leaves that fear in people that investing is risky. It's poverty that leaves that mindset that abundance is for other people. Some people become so poor at or experience so much scarcity in their lives that at some point they just feel like that this life is not for them, that abundance is not for them, wealth is not for them, that it's maybe for some other people. So they lose hope. So poverty takes away hope, right? And before you know it, these beliefs remain even after the situation has improved. So sometimes the situation improves, the person becomes somebody who has money, right? But what poverty has cost is still there. That's why we always say that you can become rich tomorrow but still have a poverty mindset. But still have a poverty mindset. And that's why somebody can make a lot of money and still will not invest. Sometimes it's the mindset holding the person back because you're thinking, no, 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 this investing thing is too risky. Because it's a mindset developed from where you're coming from. You can see people who have acquired money, but they still believe that they don't have money because they still feel that no, even if I have this money, I don't think I deserve to be here. It should be for other people. All right. So poverty doesn't just empty pockets, it fills the mind with fear. Number two, when survival becomes your normal, right? When survival becomes your normal, poverty can teach you to fear wealth. Now, imagine growing up in a home where every month ends with uncertainty. Don't know where the next food will come from. Your parents are worried about rent. Your school fees were delayed. There are children that see their school fees, they were never on time with school fees. They were almost among those people that were chased away for school fees, right? Electricity was disconnected every time. Whenever NEPA comes, now your house, they go first come because they already know. They don't even need to check. They go first come your house. All right? Most times there's no food in the house. You see, when these things happen, the brain starts learning a lesson. It starts shaping the brain. It starts shaping the brain to see the world that as if the world is not safe. And you see, once that belief that, oh, the world is not safe, nothing is stable, nothing is permanent, your financial decisions start to revolve around survival instead of growth. I remember those days in school, there were people that were chased away so much from school that it became a part of them. In fact, when they mistakenly pay their school fees on time, they are not happy because it has become part of them. So survival becomes normal to them, right? So you get to a point where it starts affecting your decisions financially. So instead of asking yourself, how can I build wealth? You're looking for, how do I avoid losing what I have? It is poverty thinking that makes you think your first approach to finance, to your money, or your all your focus. Because of course you don't need to lose what you have. But poverty mindset makes you to only think of how to avoid losing rather than also think how to build. And there are two different mindsets. You cannot use a mindset focused on how to avoid losing to approach wealth. There are two things. And if you remember, I had made this analogy before. It's like in a game, in a football game, right? The question when you play a football game and you're either some people play to win, some people are playing not to win. They are two different things. If you are playing to win, it's a different mindset from when you are playing not to win. Sorry, from when you're playing not to lose. So there are people who come to the football game and they are there to play not to lose. That's their approach. They want to play not to lose. But there are people who are there to play to win. You know, when during the World Cup, England faced Argentina, right? A lot of people criticized the coach because they said that the coach was playing with fear. So the coach played to survive the game. He didn't play to win the game because at 50 something minutes, they were 1-0 up. They moved everyone back to defend the goal. And they kept replacing attackers with defenders. So at that point, they were playing not to lose. But at that same point, Argentina was playing to win. So Argentina kept mounting pressure, pressure, pressure until they scored one, they scored two, and they won the match. So some of us, we are not playing the money game to win. Some of us are just playing not to lose. So we're going to be on the defensive. And if you're going to be on the defensive, there's no how you're going to win the match. You can't be on the defensive and win a match. If you get into a football match or any sports game and your first approach is to defend, you can't win because how do you score? The only way you score is to attack. So the mindset it takes to attack and the mindset it takes to defend are not the same. They're not the same. The same thing applies to money. The mindset required to build, the mindset required to avoid losing what you have already is not the same. Right? For you to build, for you to attack, to score a goal in a football match, it means you need to take risks. When you are playing not to lose the match, you are afraid of taking risks. So that's why everybody goes back to protect the goal because you don't want to take risks. But for you to win the match, you must take a risk. You must be able to move your players up pitch, right? Your players must be able to move out. Your players must be able to attack. Of course, attacking means that you're going to leave spaces, but that's the risk involved. But that risk has a reward. But when you're not willing to take the risk and you're afraid of taking risk, that's when you push everyone backward. And that was the problem a lot of people had with the manager of England in that match. Right? Although he has his decisions, he knows why he did what he did. All right. But I'm trying to paint a picture for you with attacking and defending. The same thing applies with money. When you are building wealth, right? When you're seeking to build wealth, you are attacking. When you're building wealth, what are you doing? You're investing, you're creating businesses. It takes taking risk Building a business is an attacking minded venture to create a business. You need to have the mindset of taking risks for you to build a business. You need to have the mindset of taking risks, excuse me, for you to be able to create and invest, or for you to be able to invest in other people's business. Now, the mindset of defending is the mindset of telling yourself, I don't want to lose what I have. Let me protect it. So you keep it with yourself. You keep it to yourself. So you're focused on protecting what you have. But it's very unfortunate that most times in protecting what you have, you can lose it all. So, but it's not about that. The most important thing for us to take away here is the mindset. The mindset required to move forward and the mindset required to stay back and protect is not the same. Right? They are not the they're two different mindsets. And poverty infuses that mindset to just protect what you have. It's a mindset of poverty that, all I have to do is just to protect all I have. The people who have made it big in the world have taken risks. You must be able to attack. The best teams in the world are the biggest attacking teams. Yes. Yes, I'm sorry, I'm using football a lot. I love football a lot, right? I watch football. So Paris Saint-Germain last won the Champions League, right? Am I right? Paris Saint-Germain won the Champions League. And as a last season, they were the best attacking team in the Champions League. When they catch you, they hit you back to back. See, when the best attacking team meets the best defensive team, the attacking team always has an upper hand because they're the ones putting the pressure. So you need to have an attacking mindset when it comes to money. You need to have the mindset of pushing yourself to be able to take risks. That's the mindset you have. The mindset of not losing is a mindset that was created from fear. And sometimes it's as a result of poverty. Number three. Number three, yes, number three. Number three is that poverty trains the brain to avoid risks, which is part of what I just explained now, right? So behavioral economists, have found that people who have experienced prolonged financial hardship often become far more sensitive to loss than to opportunity. Let me say it again. They've realized that people who have experienced prolonged financial hardship become far more sensitive to loss than to opportunity. Their eyes have been trained to see losses more than seeing opportunities. So they can quickly identify places where they can lose their money, but they hardly find out places that give them opportunity to make more money. Right? It takes time. Yes. Oh, yes. Thank you very much, Madam Linda Oko. Sorry for others. I can't put up the comment. But Madam Linda Oko just shared something on Facebook. Sorry, on Instagram. And she said it takes a lifetime to change that mindset. I just realized it is deeply ingrained. It takes time. It might not take a lifetime, but it takes time. It takes conscious effort to change the mindset. Yes, it's the mindset. It's a serious mindset thing. It takes time to change it. But yes, with work, with consistency, with intentionality, any mindset can be changed. You have to be intentional about it. Right? You have to be very intentional about it. Right? So people who have experienced prolonged financial hardship are in that situation where they are in a more situation, they are more sensitive to loss than to opportunity. Right? See, when you have little, every loss feels enormous. Yes, when you have little, every loss feels like the whole world has gone. But wealth creation, on the other hand, requires taking calculated risks. Starting a business requires taking calculated risks. Investing in stocks requires taking calculated risks. Learning new skills, yes. Learning new skills involves taking calculated risks. Changing careers. How to change careers? It involves taking calculated risks to change careers. Right? Building assets, the same, requires taking calculated risks. To someone whose brain has been trained by poverty, these opportunities can feel like threats. Are you listening to me? The opportunity, all these things I've listed, can feel like threats more than possibilities. So you tell the person, I think you can start a business, you do a business. The only thing that will come to the person's mind is everything that can go wrong in the business. So that business is a threat to whatever it is the person is doing at the moment that is feeding the person. You tell the person invest in stocks and they see everything wrong on how they can lose their money in stocks. You tell the person learn new skills. You mean I should take time from my job and learn new skill? Ah, no, this job I can't play with it. Too. What if I learn the new skill? I don't make anything out of it. You tell the person, I think you're good at this. It's time you change careers. This one is not working out for you. No, half bread is better than chin chin. That's the mindset. Let me be taking my half bread first, right? So poverty trains somebody whose mind has been trained by poverty finds it difficult to see opportunities. So in areas where they should see opportunities, they are seeing threats. They see it like a threat, right? In areas where they should see opportunities, they don't see it. It feels like a threat to them. That's why a lot of people who are who are 9 to 5 people find it difficult to create businesses because that business feels like a threat to their current job. They find it hard, right? So they find it very difficult. Okay. All right. So the next, I think that's number 5. Number 5. Um, Number 5 is better the little you know. What do I mean here? You know, there are a lot of people that have said, at least I have my small salary, right? That's why I said, better the little you know, better the little you have. So think of how many people that have had the opportunity to move away from where they are, but they're telling themselves, at least I have my small salary. Oh. Make I no go take risk. Well, no. Make I dey manage myself. Make I dey manage where I dey. Even when the salary can barely sustain them, but they can't move. They find it difficult to move. The salary is not sustaining them, but they're not moving. The salary is not helping them, but they are remaining where they are. Okay, number 4. Okay, thank you, ma'am. They're remaining where they are, right? Even though it's not working out for them. Fear, because for a lot of people, uncertainty is the biggest big problem for them. They don't ever want to be in a situation of uncertainty, and that's the reason why a lot of people prefer salaries because they just want to be received, even if the salary is small, they are sure it's coming every month. That's the mindset they have. At least I'm sure every month I'll get it. But what they don't realize is that they can make 10 times what they are making in that salary if they are able to step out of that mindset. Right? See, poverty teaches people that security, even if the security is adequate, it teaches people that security is safer than possibility. So when you see people who are go to 5 to 9 people, their focus is job security. That's what they tell us. At least I have job security. But if you've listened to me over and over again, I will tell you job security is an illusion. It's a very big illusion. It's a very big illusion. There's not such thing as job security. So in case you feel, oh no, I can't move, I can't do any other thing. This is my job. I want to secure this my job. I want to keep this my job. There is nothing as job security. Right? There's nothing as job security. You're seeing security as the ultimate because of your fear. It's your fear. It's your fear. Poverty will teach you that security is more important than possibility. Right? The next, so we said that this is number 4, right? So I've done 1, 2, 3, 4. The next is number 5. Number 5 is that poverty can make wealth feel suspicious. Yes, poverty can make wealth feel suspicious. You know, in a lot of communities in this part of the world, a lot of children grow up hearing statements like, nobody ever becomes rich honestly. I don't know if you've ever heard that. Nobody can make this kind of money the right way. We see children hear that in the community. We heard some of those things in our communities growing up. You hear things like everybody that has made this amount of money must have done something evil. Don't be pure money with this. You see people, somebody will see an enormous house, see wealth that is so glaring. Just go look and say, see this thing, I know if it be pure money. This are not if it be true money. Some people have actually grown to believe that when they see an enormous amount of wealth, it can never be pure. It must be evil. There's something about it. There's something about it. Right? That's the belief of poverty. Poverty will make you feel, money changes. Money, they change people. Oh. Where you hear, it's a mindset. Poverty has even made people feel that, and this is a statement that also is everywhere in our environment, that rich people don't go to heaven. We've heard these things before. Rich people know they go heaven. Eh? We've also heard statements like, excuse me, we've also heard statements like, if you become too successful, people will envy you. Do I remind you of that statement? If you become too successful, people will envy you. Remember, I once told you a story of my grandfather. And if you remember that story of my grandfather, as somebody who is always coming to these sessions, you'll remember this. That if you become too successful, people will envy you. That's exactly what my grandfather told my dad. They will come and steal from you. They will do this to you. They will do that to you. These are things children grow up hearing. They grow up hearing statements like this. And you see, when statements like this become repeated enough, these ideas become internal beliefs. They are no longer just statements. They become beliefs, internal beliefs. A lot of lies, the lies that damaged us plenty. The lies, they too plenty. What I've told you, they are too plenty. A lot of lies. Right? And those lies stayed long enough. They were repeated so much, it became people's belief. Imagine somebody desiring wealth. The person wants wealth. But at the same time, the person believes that wealth is dangerous. Somebody wants to be successful, but at the same time, in their mind, they feel like, if I become successful now, people will not start envying me. People will not hate me because I'm successful. So the conscious mind of the person is saying, I want to become wealthy. The subconscious mind is whispering, but wealthy people are bad though. These wealthy people where you know. These ones where you know. These ones where wicked. Where wicked. The rich people where wicked. And when your subconscious starts whispering things like this to your mind, to you, eventually you start sabotaging opportunities that can make you move forward. Right? So the things that we hear are powerful. It shaped a lot of people. Some people have come to believe that money changes people. So they don't want money to change them. So they don't want money. Because money, they change people. Money, they change people. Some people feel that for you to have a certain amount of money, when people see a lot of wealth, they say, no, it's not pure money. It's either he did drug, or he did ogwego, money ritual, or he did one illegal thing or the other. Or they say, oh, this one must be Yahoo. Right? Even our police too have the mindset. So whenever they see a young, successful man, they tag him Yahoo. It's that same mindset. It's the same mindset. All right. Okay, let's move on. Number 6, right? Poverty can make people fear success. Right? So success attracts attention, which is normal. And attention attracts expectation. Right? So many African communities, many Nigerian communities, becoming financially successful comes with increased responsibilities. Because suddenly you're successful and suddenly relatives need help. Suddenly friends expect support. Suddenly old acquaintances will start reconnecting with you because they now see that, let's say you just show one sign of success. or from people from nowhere. So I call this, I just wanted to greet you. Hello, how you doing? I just say make I greet you. Everyone assumes you have endless resources. So some people unconsciously avoid becoming wealthy because they associate wealth with overwhelming pressure. They don't even want to become wealthy because they know that if I become wealthy, they go use billing kill me. Oh. So that fear that fear keeps people in poverty. Can make it's not even now just poverty of the person, it's poverty around the person can make people fear success. Poverty around people can make them fear success. They say, no, I beg, you better my day as I did like this. They will look at what successful person and say, they say, I don't want to be this man. I don't want to be his shoes. Those kind of things. Right? So it makes people feel that life is simpler without money. Not because money is the problem, right? But because they have never learned healthy financial boundaries. When you don't understand that you can have boundaries, healthy financial boundaries, then you'll be afraid to make money because of poor people around you, because of the poor relatives, because of the relatives who will suddenly start needing help once they know you have money, because of the friends who will just start expecting support, because of the old acquaintances who will start reaching out to you. The problem is not the money. The problem is not that you don't have money. That's what people don't understand. And that's why financial education is important. So they see that, the reason why all these people are coming to me now is because I have money. The problem is not money. Money is not the problem, right? The problem is that they did not learn healthy financial boundaries. Healthy financial boundaries. They didn't learn it. I once met a man a few weeks. I think I've told this story when I was on my way to Enugu for the summit, and I sat with him. He's a commissioner, and you know, we had quite a lengthy conversation. And after that conversation, we had to exchange contacts. He said, we need to talk. We need to continue talking. What was the conversation? The conversation was how people want to drown him with expectations. Billing, the man said billing one killer. That he does not have any financial problem. That his financial problem is people's financial problem, his own financial problems. And I had to tell him the problem is that you do not have boundaries. And of course, he mixed it up with all emotions. Hey, how can somebody come and tell me that they need help now, and I will say I will not give? How can somebody tell me they want to do this and I cannot help? I just can't, just can't. Poor emotions control lack of boundaries. Lack of boundaries, total lack of boundaries, right? The next, I think this is number 7, right? Poverty creates a scarcity identity. So excuse me, scarcity is not just because of the absence of money, right? It can become an identity. People start saying, people like us never get rich. People like us know they know they rich. They already identify themselves as people who would not be rich, people who don't have money. People say things like, our family has always struggled. So they've already given their family an identity, struggling family. Some people say this is just how life is. Life no easy. This is just how life is. I've come to accept life like this. So they've already given themselves an identity. People suffering in life. So notice the language, right? When people say this is just how life is, when people say our family has always struggled, when people say people like us never become rich, it is no longer describing circumstances. It is now describing their identity. They're not describing their own identity. They have come to become or tag themselves as those people who cannot access these things. And once poverty becomes part of your identity, escaping it feels like abandoning who you are. Once poverty becomes your identity, escaping it feels like abandoning who you are. It feels like abandoning who you are, right? Okay. Number 8, Poverty can make people feel guilty about having more, right? So I don't know if you've ever met someone who apologizes for succeeding, right? Somebody who is always downplaying their achievements, somebody who always hides their success. They don't want people to know they are succeeding in life, right? Somebody who is uncomfortable enjoying the fruits of their labor. Sometimes this comes from growing up where having more than others attracted criticism or attracted guilt. You know, those kind of compound, like face me, I face you, those kind of environment where if you have more, you just stay gingerly, may you not bring problem, right? May you don't carry problem come your side. That's what poverty does. The result is that you unconsciously limit yourselves to remain emotionally accepted. Why? Because you don't now want people, if you see that you're not making money, Mama Nkechi will not stop talking to you. Mama Nkechi will not start criticizing you. You now start feeling guilty that you have and the other person does not have. This is what poverty does. Poverty, number 9 now, right? I think number 9. Yes, number 9. Number 9 is that it creates fear of investing. So there are families that along their poverty journey, they have had failed businesses, they've been involved in scams. Poor people are scammed more than any other, I'm telling you, especially in Nigeria. They're involved in economic crisis, inflation. They've lost all their savings due to one issue or the other before. You know, these experiences will always teach one very terrible lesson: protect your money, protect your money, right? So people who experience these things hardly want to hear grow your money again because of their experience. So for them, the most important thing is to protect what they have, right? But when protection becomes fear, it means that you will stop investing entirely. All right. So remember that money sitting still will lose value over time, right? And the only way you can grow your money is by investing. Number 10, which will be the last that we will take, is that poverty rewards short-term thinking. Excuse me. Right? See, when survival is uncertain, today's needs naturally feel more important than tomorrow's goals. If you see a typical poor person, they're not concerned about tomorrow. It's about now, today. So I never chop today, they talk about Mikai. I never do this thing today, don't talk about. So poverty has trained their minds to only focus on the now. That's why it's very easy for Nigerian politicians to give people 2,000 and collect their votes because poverty has trained the minds of those people to only think about immediate short-term benefits. So when they are telling them take 2,000 and vote for me, they're not thinking about the implication of their decisions in the next 4 years. That's not their problem. Their minds have been trained in a way that the only thing they can think about is the 2,000. So no matter how hard you try to explain it to them, the only thing they see is 2,000. That 2,000 is the only thing they can think of. The benefit of that 2,000 is the only thing that their mind can comprehend. Because guess what? Each time people shout on show, what is wrong with people? Why will you collect? It is a mindset thing. Their minds have been trained that way. So even if they go through poverty for the next 4 years as a result of their decisions, after 4 years, they will collect another 4,000. In fact, they will be begging the person, the politician, please now just increase the money more for us. All the thinkers is immediate benefits. They don't think long term. They don't think in the next 1 year what will be the consequence of this 2,000 I'm thinking. All they are thinking is, what can this 2,000 now give me? Maybe they're thinking this 2,000 now can get me bread. That's what they're thinking about. And this is one of the things that the politicians use against the population because the population is filled with poor people. And they understand this thing. So they use this short-term thinking to get what they want from them. They use it to get what they want from them. Right? So this is part of the problem. It's a poverty problem. That's why we say that Nigeria has a poverty problem. And if the poverty problem is not changed, then people will keep making wrong decisions for the whole country. Because that's why sometimes you see that, oh, people say, oh, let's vote for the right person. But some people will still collect money and vote to the wrong person. Because for you, you're talking about something he cannot imagine. You're talking about something his brain cannot imagine. His brain cannot comprehend. The only thing his brain comprehends is the 5,000 in his hands. He can't think long term. He can only think short term. He can only think today. He can only think the immediate next hour. That's the only thing he thinks. And that's why a lot of poor people live from hand to mouth, even when if they make more money. I've given this analogy before. See, a lot of poor people make money, but they don't realize. Let's take, for example, somebody who works as, let's say, mason, like in a building construction. He can be earning as much as 30,000 a day per day. Every day he earns 30,000, right? Let me give you an example. He works from Monday to Saturday. Let's do a calculation just for you to see how this mindset can kill a lot of things. From Monday to Saturday, or let's even say he works 5 days a week, 20 days a month, right? And he makes his 30,000. Some earn more than this, some earn 50,000 for a day job. I don't know. Mr. Chris, I think Mr. Chris is an architect because he can even give us specific figures. A typical mason ends in a day, right? If I'm getting it wrong. So yeah, 32, let's say 30,000 times 20, right? That's 600,000. But here is the thing, because of the mindset that this person has, he doesn't think long term. So that 30,000, before he gets home, he has spent it. So from that 30,000, before he gets home, he'll branch somewhere where he's going to eat pepper soup, probably, or eat whatever he'll eat, take drinks, alcohol. In fact, by the time he's getting home, he barely has even, maybe he has 10,000 left. He'll give his family 5,000, with 5,000 for transportation the next day. And that's how he keeps living his life. At the end of the month, he will not realize that he has made up to 600,000, but he still call himself a poor person. Mindset. Mindset. Because most times, not having a long term mindset will not allow you to delay your gratification. Because all you're thinking about is now. They end the 30,000, what they're thinking is, oh, my heart, they will take enjoy myself now. Oh, life now once, so at least now where I don't get work this month, I don't know when next I will get job. That's all they're thinking about. That's why a poor person today can hit a lot of money. At the next very moment they are broke because all they think about is short. They don't think about tomorrow. And it's a training that poverty has done to the mind. It's training by the mind. The same person will be looking for handout from other people, not realizing that some people, some masons, bricklayers, and so many odd jobs, plumbers, make more money than people who work in banks. Yes, they do. Some of them make more money than people who work in banks. But because of their mindset, they can't make anything out of it. Right? They can't make anything out of it. So poverty rewards short-term thinking. So the only reward they get is from what they get in the immediate short term. So anytime that it's a long term, it feels unnatural to them. Anything you tell them that has to do with long term, it feels unnatural. Very unnatural to them. A poor person would take 50,000 from you today rather than wait 6 months to collect 1 million naira from you. It's because they think short term. It's because their brains have been set, their brains have been trained to just think only short term. So all they're thinking of, this one why they see for an eye, give me and make a hole for hand. Right? Make a hole for hand. Okay? So that's the sad reality. That's the sad reality. Right? So when the mindset, when survival is uncertain, right? Today's needs will naturally feel more important than tomorrow's goal. Right? But when this mindset continues after circumstances improve, people will continue choosing the wrong options. They'll continue choosing consumption over investment. So this Mason have been through a lot in his life, but now he doesn't know that he's earning 600 a month. So he keeps choosing consumption over investment, even long before he has come out of that situation, right? So they keep choosing immediate gratification over delayed rewards. They keep choosing lifestyle upgrades over asset building. I know of a situation that happened one time, and I'm going to tell you the story. A relative. So this relative was opportuned to make some considerable amount of money after some few years of struggling. They made good amount of money, a husband and a wife. You know what they did? They went and furnished their house. That was that was the first approach. They furnished their house, got new chairs, changed the carpets, changed the curtains, and went back to where they came from. They went back to exactly where they came from after that. It's how the mind has been. I didn't quite understand this thing as at that time. It happened a very long time ago. But later on, when I started studying, I got to understand that this is actually a mindset problem. The emergency has ended. The emergency mindset still remains. Right? So it's all about lifestyle upgrade. They want to look good. Lifestyle upgrade first before they even start thinking of assets. Imagine somebody who has struggled, had an opportunity of money to maybe start up something, but the first thing that came to their mind was to upgrade their house. Right? So a lot of African families carry memories that have been shaped by a lot of hardship, inflation, unemployment, even civil conflict, business failures, unstable economic systems. And I've said this before. For many Igbo families, the Biafran War, the loss of businesses and properties, and the post war economic policies left emotional scars that extended beyond one generation. So children inherited not only stories of hardship, but also deep fears about security, about ownership, about financial stability. And these experiences would help us explain why so many people prioritize visible assets, right? So many people avoid financial markets. So many people remain cautious about wealth building opportunities. Why so many people will first focus on building their house in the village than increasing or improving their businesses or whatever they are doing. Some people even try to build the house in the village and collapse their business in the process. Fears that have been inherited, right? So there are some historical influences, right? That that some of us are still trapped by. And we need to become intentional about healing from them. So wealth requires a different relationship with money. Building wealth requires you believing that opportunities exist. You need to believe it. You need to believe that mistakes can become lessons. How many times did all the famous billionaires in the world, how many times did they make mistakes? A lot of times. You need to believe that investing is a tool, that money can be managed wisely. You need to believe it. You need to believe that abundance is possible. Right? You see, these beliefs rarely grow naturally in an environment shaped by chronic scarcity. So, if you grew up in an environment that was shaped by scarcity, then you need to cultivate these mindsets intentionally. Very intentional about it. Very intentional. All right? Very intentional about cultivating a new mindset. Okay? Because the truth is that God wants us to be wealthy. Right? God has given us the ability to produce wealth. To give us the ability. And for us to be able to produce wealth, then it means we need to manage money faithfully. Money is not something to fear. Wealth is not something to fear. Wealth is a resource to steward God's purpose. So now, how do we unlearn the fears of wealth? Number one, separate wealth from character. Money reveals character more than it creates it, right? So good people can do more good. Money reveals character more than it creates it. Money does not create character, it reveals the character. So when you give money to somebody who is good, he does more good. When you give some money to somebody who is bad, he does more bad. Number two, challenge your money beliefs. Ask yourself, where did I learn this from? Is this true? Is it helping me build the life I desire? Number three, learn about wealth. Ignorance will create more fear. Education builds confidence. And for those who have been listening to me in the last few months, you would know how much confidence have come to grow in you. Study investing, study entrepreneurship, study stewardship. Number four, heal from financial trauma. Some fears are rooted in experiences that need healing. It's not merely better financial advice. You need healing. So recognize your story, accept it, acknowledge it, process it. Don't let yesterday's fear continue to be your limitation. Number five is build wealth with purpose. Wealth is not about proving your worth. No. It is about increasing your capacity to provide, to give, to create opportunities, to solve problems, and to leave a legacy. Right? So when you attach fear to wealth, fear removes, much of the fear that surrounds wealth. So tell yourself there's a purpose why you need to create wealth. And that purpose is even bigger than you. Right? So poverty does not only teach people how to live with less. Sometimes it's teaching people how to become uncomfortable with having more. All right? So it's whispering, stay small, don't take risk. Success is dangerous, so no go area. People like us never become wealthy. Those are the whispers. But those whispers are not your destiny. They are learned responses. And what has been learned can be unlearned. You do not have to choose between humility and wealth. You do not have to choose between faith and financial success. You do not have to remain trapped in survival mindset because of yesterday's experiences. Because the goal is not simply to escape poverty. No, the goal is to escape the fear, the beliefs, the emotional patterns that poverty leaves behind. Right? Only then can you build wealth with wisdom, with peace, and most importantly, with confidence. And if you're here and you're not yet registered in our Healing for Financial Trauma course, if you ever find yourself afraid of success, uncomfortable with money, or constantly sabotaging financial opportunities, the problem may not be a lack of ability. It may be a sign of unhealed trauma. So join us in the Healing from Financial Trauma course. Right? Join us. You need to understand how to begin to heal from your journey. Financial freedom is not just about escaping poverty. No, it's not. It is also about escaping the mindset that poverty leaves behind. So most times people escape poverty, but they don't escape the mindset. Right? Join us in that course. Remember, it starts Monday next week. So it's already here. This is why I come to the end of today's live stream on this wonderful Wednesday afternoon. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here today. Thank you for being a part of us today. It's a blessing to have you all joining week in, week out to listen to us. And if you're here, you're not yet in the Money Click program. Remember, the Money Click program starts January 2027. A new cohort starts in January 2027. If you're not yet in the Money Click program, please join the Money Click program. Right? Join the Money Click program. Get into a system where you get to learn about money every day of your life. Right? Madam Linda said the things that we've known about money, the mindset will take a long time to change, but you need knowledge to guide you on that long time change, right? And that's why you should be there, and not just there, you are in a community of people who are on the same journey to get better with money. All right. Also, if you have a child, a teen that is not learning about money, you're making a mistake. Get them to join the Money Click Kids program, right? Thank you, Madam Tony George. The Money Click MCK to the world. Get them to join the MCK program. It's important that we start early to expose our children to financial education. Currently, we are running the Smart Money Kids workshop. It's a workshop that we run every year, right? Every year. And it's been amazing so far. In fact, I'm looking forward to starting the next session in about 1 hour. It's been awesome, with the children and all the learning and seeing how much they're learning and how much they're improving. It's been very interactive. Don't leave your child out. Stop leaving your children out. Get them to join us. They can still join us today and get the replays for the last 2 days. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. It's been an honor teaching you all. My name is Chukwuemeka Koyeniz, and this is where we come to the end of today. Yes, faith comes by hearing. Yes, so the program, yes, that's what it's about. It's about keeping us to hear. It's about that intentionality. That's what the Money Click brings to us. It gets you intentional. We bring it to your face every day. If you leave the process will leave you. Yes, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you and thank you and thank you. Right? Thank you. See you all tomorrow again by 12 noon. We'll back again. And we're going to be having another interesting topic tomorrow. Tomorrow, I want us to look at something. The topic tomorrow is the culture of financial track sacrifice that keeps families poor. I hope you don't miss it. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a good day. Bye-bye.
So have you ever wondered why you keep making the same money mistakes, even after reading books, attending seminars, and learning about budgeting and so much more? Maybe you've promised yourself countless times that, this month I'll save, this year I'll invest, this time I'll be more disciplined. Yet somehow you end up repeating the same cycle. What if your problem isn't lack of financial knowledge? What if it's unresolved financial trauma? Financial trauma occurs when painful money experiences create emotional wounds that continue to influence your financial decisions even years later. Perhaps you grew up in a home where there was never enough. Perhaps your parents constantly fought over money. Perhaps you watched the family business collapse. Perhaps you experienced sudden poverty after a period of comfort. That event may have ended, but the emotional impact remained. And today, those experiences may be silently shaping how you earn, how you spend, how you invest, and even discuss money. So many people are trying to solve emotional problems with financial strategies. That's like trying to treat a broken bone with perfume. Until you heal the wound, the symptoms will keep returning. And that is why I created the Healing from Financial Trauma course. Not to teach more budgeting, not to teach more investing, but to help people understand the hidden emotional forces driving their money decisions. Because when healing begins, financial transformation becomes sustainable. If this resonates with you, send us a message. Let's talk about how you can join the Healing from Financial Trauma course. You can just comment healing in the comments. I'll reach out to you with the details. My name is Chukwuemeka Koyeniz, and I'm the founder of the Viral Academy. Bye-bye.